Come here. Hello, my friend. Perez Hilton here, the original influencer, the queen of all media, and your number one source for everything It Ends With Us saga. As I have been hopefully entertainingly sharing with you all, floral fanatic Blake Lively filed her amended lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, her co-star, director, and producer in the movie It Ends With Us. She is doubling down on her allegations of sexual harassment against him, adding that he failed to investigate or take her claims of workplace inappropriateness seriously. She claims that there are others who also are his victims, and she doesn't have any receipts. Tons of hearsay, but she swears that receipts and witnesses will come, and they will testify, and discovery will happen, okay? Watch my previous videos to get fully caught up. We are resuming now here. The parties negotiate a contract writer regarding Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's conduct on the set of It Ends With Us. They're taking us back to that period in time where filming shut down due to the two union strikes, the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild. The strikes ended and filming was set to resume. But at this point, after Miss Lively and others had unsuccessfully attempted to address and resolve the ongoing problems on set and having significant concerns about the return to production, Miss Lively worked with her attorneys to address the conditions described above and create a safe environment on set for herself and others. The infamous protections for return to production, which we've seen and discussed at length. Now they're detailing everything that this contract writer, the agreement to return to set, should have provided her and the cast and crew. We don't need to go through this all. You know, intimacy coordinator must be present, blah, 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 blah. No rewriting for extra sex scenes, etc., etc., etc. This part, though, they made sure to bold and italicize it. The 10th provision required that there shall be no retaliation of any kind against Miss Lively for raising concerns about the conduct described in this letter or for these requirements. Any changes in attitude, sarcasm, marginalization, or other negative behavior, either on set or otherwise, and then this next part is underlined as well as bolded and italicized, including during publicity and promotional work, as a result of these requests, is retaliatory and unacceptable and will be met with immediate action. Another producer was going to come on board to be an intermediary and help things, go smoothly, blah, blah, blah. 15th provision, the 16th provision. Okay. We've heard this before, but some of these things bear repeating. On December 4th, 2023, the Sony rep reached out to Miss Lively to acknowledge that Miss Lively's experience on set had been beyond challenging and to reiterate her own and Sony's support for Miss Lively and her relief that Todd Black, the producer, who was brought in to oversee the safety of the cast and crew, was now on board. Well, clearly Sony was double dipping because while they may have been telling her that, they were also very sympathetic to Justin Baldoni and his company, Wayfarer. He included all of those receipts in his amended lawsuit. I remember. They're bringing up the all hands on deck meeting again. Production resumed in January of 2024, and before that, Miss Lively reassured one cast member that, quote, "You'll enjoy it this time, and you don't need to hug anyone is the best part." Yeah, she mentioned that previously in the amended complaint. Miss Lively said that she felt solid. It's a professional set and we're getting good work. That professional set was the result of an 8-month process in which Miss Lively attempted privately to resolve concerns of misconduct and sexual harassment by Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath. Wayfarer failed to investigate, blah, 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 blah. Understanding the risk she was taking by speaking up, Miss Lively asked and Wayfarer agreed in a contract not to retaliate against her in any way, including in the press. While Miss Lively remained disturbed by her experiences, she trusted that Wayfarer would honor the contract it signed. Instead, the Wayfarer parties launched a vicious and well-funded retaliation campaign against her, which has grown more aggressive and harmful over the past several months. Delulu! This is organic. People can think for themselves. I truly don't believe astroturfing has happened. And she hasn't shown any proof that it has. Oh snap, this next part's gonna be extra great. They're talking about her allegedly or not taking control of the movie. Mr. Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties have falsely claimed that Miss Lively took over the film as a self-aggrandizing power play. The defendant's entire accusation would rely on Miss Lively and others fabricating malicious claims nearly a year before an edit, though Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath repeatedly engaged in inappropriate behavior with witnesses and corroborators in real time. And then, even more complicated, their accusation would have required Miss Lively to rely on the hope that the Wayfarer parties would sign a document acknowledging and agreeing to cease the detailed and specific misconduct described in her claims. After writing letters of apology to other female cast 8 months before. And also, most critically, the supposed master plan they absurdly accuse Miss Lively of would rely on the hope that Wayfarer would never, in that 1.5-year process, launch an HR investigation to clear their innocent names, but instead allow their film to be stolen from them. The assertion that Miss Lively bullied her way into the edit room is not only false, but it was not even necessary. If she was not happy with the film, she could have easily just moved on to her next project. She had offers for directing jobs before, during, and since the film. If she wanted to direct, she could do that at any time and without having to deal with the Wayfarer parties whom she very clearly wanted nothing to do with. The story of the edit of the film is not relevant to Miss Lively's claims of sexual harassment and retaliation. Yes, it is. Remember, even before production began, okay? In his amended complaint, he included receipts and information of her already taking control of the movie. I remember. Do you remember? The Sony cut is the film that was chosen to be released in theaters. The Sony cut, her cut, which was tested and tested worse than his version. But they still went with hers. The Sony cut is the film that was chosen to be released in theaters. Miss Lively led the Sony cut with their support, working in close collaboration with Sony and Colleen Hoover. Sony released the film's trailer on May 16th. The next day, a Sony executive wrote Miss Lively about the huge response from the public to that release, calling it a beautiful start and thanking Miss Lively for her contributions. On June 19th, 2024, a month later, one of the film's producers described Miss Lively's edit of the film as excellent and her work as truly beautiful. On August 11th, after the film's release, Sony executive Miss Giannetti wrote to Miss Lively, Blake, $50 million, your blood, sweat, tears, brilliant smarts, heart, and soul in every single frame. My God, it's incredible. Thank you 50 million times, and it's only Saturday night. And it's only the halfway mark. I've still got a lot more to get through. If you're enjoying this, come back and we'll get through it together. I'm working chronologically and getting to every important detail of her amended complaint. Until the next video, thoughts on all that we have learned here? Let's discuss in the comment section.